Welcome everyone to the Grumpy Old Bugger's Icarus Adventure. Now this, as you will probably notice, is the first time I've ever tried recording or posting a video, but after watching quite a few Icarus videos, I noticed that a lot of beginners, new players, often only play one or two times and become very frustrated with the system. How to get started, what should I do, where should I go, why should I not die immediately? And I thought, well, as I have a few hours logged up on Icarus, I'd come back to the beginning and start again as a noob. This is not a complete instructional video. It's just an opinion on how I like to start as a new player on a new map and what I do to survive those initial few days. Now, I don't know how many videos there'll be in this short series, but probably we will go to perhaps level 15 or level 20. By the time a new player gets to level 20, he's usually pretty competent and has a pretty good idea where he's going and what he's going to do. But it's usually that first couple of days where the confusion kicks in and they either get sucked into the game like I did, or they throw their hands up in confusion and decide never to play again because they're frustrated. Now, I'm going to try and explain a couple of things, and as we go, just try and give the new players a little bit of a heads up on a variation of how to start. Now, on the Icarus platforms, there's many great players, brilliant players, a lot better than I'll ever be. They have good advice, but once they get into the details, the newer player looking for advice gets a little bit overwhelmed. And what is obvious to an older player or a long time player is not always obvious to somebody who just bought the game yesterday because it looked interesting and hops into play and finds out he's either dead in the first 10 minutes, he can't make a building, or he makes a building in the wrong materials, and the first storm knocks it over, knocks it down, or sets it on fire. And he throws his hands up in frustration and says, to hell with it, this game has no sense to it. So with that, we are going to proceed as though I was a complete noob. And to this end, I will try and explain how I look at a new start. This is not a hard and fast rule. It's just the way I like to start. And get a little bit of a running jump on the competition. And remember, the competition on Icarus will kill you at every chance it gets. So, without much further ado, let's introduce the main stars of Icarus, and that's the developers. Now, why mention the developers? Well, the developers themselves play the game. They know the ins and outs of it. They keep it up to date. Consequently, of course, you'll get regular updates. And they keep changing the rules. But also, an interesting fact, most of the developers are New Zealanders. Now, New Zealanders are a crafty lot. They don't say much. You don't see them very often. but they have a twisted sense of humor. Icarus is a game of distraction and a little bit of deceit. Uh, and I think the developers have brought their own personalities into it. And we shall come across them as we go. Okay, first off, what are we doing and who are we doing? The first bit of distraction is that when you want to select a character, oops, wrong one, and we've already started to mess it up. Let's just get out of there again. Nice start, wasn't it? Okay, we're going to start with a new character. As you can see, Buster has been around for a while. So we're going to create a new character, and here is the first dev's distraction. Selecting a character. Okay, now there's lots of stuff here you can select. Eyes, all the rest of it. But straight away, you're distracted. Will it be male or female? What coloured suit? The voice, the head, blah, blah, blah. All the stuff down here to distract you because you're worried about what you're going to look like. Little secret, it doesn't matter what you look like. You're going to be in a spacesuit with a shaded visor. Nobody's going to see you. So, what do we select? Personally, I just grab whoever turns up. So this guy is going to be, his name is GOB. Grumpy old bugger. Alright, now, that's all you need. You don't need to go through the rest. You're not distracted. And remember, the starting position for Icarus is if you're distracted, you're dead. Alright? If it runs away from you, it's friendly. If it looks at you, you're dead. Okay, let's select new game, open world, and Olympus. Alright, lots of selection to do. Oh, will I, won't I? So, still distracted. Okay, the idea is that, yep, last night you went out on the booze, you got a skin fill, met a lovely blonde, and you woke up all of a sudden in a dropship somewhere. Right? Great idea. She's probably got your wallet as well. So let's create a new open world. Okay. This is going to be called GOB's Demise. It's normal setting. If you can go easy, but hey, come on. You're an adult. Easy's for kids. Hard is for stupid. Right? You're starting off, so you claim a prospect. Now, all this stuff ignore. I'm not going to use it. It's not going anywhere. It's just me trying to show you that I'm quite good, which I'm not. But I'd still like to pretend I am. So, confirm the loadout. You don't need insurance. And selection. Again, distraction. Ooh, where am I going to go? What am I going to do? Right? So already your mind is already distracted before you get into the game. And we will get to it. There is a reason. Okay. This spot is green for a very good reason. It's a recommended place. You're a new player. You're just starting. Believe me. Take their advice and go to the recommended area. Okay? It's got everything you need, and it will give you a bit of a head start to not die the moment you put your foot on the world. Right? Don't, if you playing solo, just keep it private unless you want to throw it all over the place and throw it open for people. And here we are. Hungover, lots of noise, and where do we wake up? Yep, I know, it's boring watching a black screen. But hey, it's probably how you feel after your hangover. And this is what you wake up to. Sorry about the long introduction, but I thought I would just give a few reasons and excuses of why I'm going to mess this up. Oh, and another fact, I have the attention span of a goldfish, so things may get forgotten. It's got nothing to do with age.
First things first.
Except it's got everything to do with age.
You'll need to craft a short-range radio.
Now, the voice you hear in the background, that is Sol. He's an annoying bugger at times, but if you listen to him, he is actually quite helpful. Okay, you've avoided the distractions of selecting this, selecting that, and diving into it. Why are you on Icarus? What is Icarus? Icarus is a survival game, and the secret is in the description. Survival. What do we need to do for survival? Well, the first thing is not die. The second thing is what is needed for survival. You need food, water, and on this planet, of course, oxygen, and you need shelter. Right? Those are the prerequisites for survival. How do you get them? Well, first of all, you're going to need some tools, because you can't build anything if you don't have tools. Why do you need tools? You came down, they paid you to be here. No, they didn't. They kidnapped you, threw you in a drop pod, and dropped you down here, then told you you're working for them. You know, the typical standard procedure for international conglomerates. So, how do we find out what we need? Okay, the quickest way is push or on your keyboard O for Oscar, right? And there we have it. This is what you can get. This is not what you have. This is what you can get. What is your primary concern? First, tools. How do we get tools? Simple. Get off your rear end. Watermelon, food. You need food. Right. What we need is 6 stones. That's all. Not a lot. And we'll take the food as we go. So gather 6 stones. That's all you need. I'll explain to you why in a moment. We've got 7. Right. Couple of sticks. And if you have a look around, you'll see small trees like this. They're also good for sticks. Why do we need sticks? Well, let's go back to Oscar. There we are. Stone pickaxe. That is the first tool I personally would make. Now, it'll automatically go down to your toolbar. Why do I have a pickaxe? Why do that first? For the simple reason, you're in the Stone Age. What do you need in the Stone Age? Lots of stone. So take the pickaxe first, not the wood axe, like some people do, because they see all the trees lying down there and think, "Oh, hooray! Great idea, free lumber." Yeah, but without any stone to make anything, you're not going to get very far. Okay, so what do we have? We have 43 stone, we have some sticks. So let's pick up a few more sticks. Just in case you make a mistake. And a little bit of fiber. You can hold down F or E, whichever your preference is, and just walk. Alright. gather everything as you go. Right, now the wood. Oscar again. There's our axe. So we have tools to be able to start making things. What is our next prerequisite? Okay, a little bit of food doesn't go astray. So we grab just a little bit, enough to keep us going. And some wood. You don't at this stage need to get a whole heap of wood and weigh yourself down. You're limited, right, in what you can carry. So you just take a little bit of everything. Let's just check. 53, we'll get a little bit more. Again, just by holding F down, it makes things easier. Okay, we have some wood, we have some stone. Now, stone tools will deteriorate quickly. Okay? So, many times I see new players looking around and saying, what the devil am I going to do now? I've got to keep making tools. They keep breaking. No, you don't. Press tab to get this up. And then down here, right click and repair. Right click, repair. As long as you have loose stone in your inventory, you can repair your tools. That's the reason mainly for taking the pickaxe first and not the wood axe. Okay, you have a bit of food, so okay there, you've got a few bits and pieces spare. What now? Well, we need water, and shortly we're going to need oxygen. Okay, carry the pickaxe with you. There's a reason for it, and I'll tell you why shortly. Now, to get oxygen on Icarus, you're looking for these blue stones, right, called oxide. That's your oxygen. A quick and easy tip is always, when you're digging any of this, yes, you don't have much stamina at the moment, so you do run out pretty quick. When you're digging any of this, complete it, right? Dig it right to the end. Right, point number 2, you just saw a sign come up on screen that you just gained some points. Now the points are for your upgrades. You get talent points, and playing as a solo, you also get solo points. But we're going to leave those for a while. Yes, they'd be handy, but I have a reason for not immediately using them. I like to accumulate them first. Right. And you notice I'm taking 3 oxides. Right. Because we're going to use the raw oxide for oxygen rather than make fancy benches and equipment and what have you to reduce it. I'll explain that later as we go. Just a bit short on stamina. It takes a little bit to come up. We will correct that eventually. Okay. We have oxide. What do we do with it? Number 1, don't stand in the open with your back to the trees trying to look at your inventory. If you have a look up ahead, see that lovely furry little horse? And look at that, it's got a baby. You're being distracted. Why do you think the horse is there? It's to distract you from what you're trying to do. Also, most people like fluffy little babies. So you go running over there to pet the baby, right? And then you find out, uh-oh, Mama's got tusks bigger than the local boar or bigger than an elephant. Now down below, again behind the tree, you can see the marker says wolf. Now these are evil little so-and-sos, right? They can take chunks out of you, and yes, you can try and run, but you've got 2 legs, he's got 4. And he's not really amused with me being up here, as you can see. So we've just gained blueprint points and talent points, as you can see in the upper right hand corner. What do we do about them? Well, we go to tab, ignore the wolf. He's one of the few that can't climb. And in here you can see tech tree. Right? Click on the tech tree. You are in survival. What do you need to survive? First off is a knife. Why? Because when you kill that little so-and-so down below, you're going to need to chop him up for the meat and the fur. Why do you need the meat? What else are you going to eat? Unless you're vegetarian, and you won't live long here in a vegetarian. Right. You can't eat raw meat, so what else are you going to do? You've got to cook it, so you need a fireplace. Now, how are you going to defend yourself? Well, the easiest way, make a bow and some arrows. That's your first 5 points. Don't worry, in the early game, they come along fairly easy. He's getting quite upset. If he came along while you were still just landed, you can kill him with the pickaxe. The ordinary axe is slower, the pickaxe is quicker. Always go for the headshots. Try and hit them in the head, they die a lot quicker. Okay? Now, what have we got that we can sort him out with? Okay, let's go to our inventory. Crafting. Okay, we make a knife. Always make the knife first. It'll automatically go into your inventory. And I like to have the knife in number 2, axe number 4, and pickaxe number 3. Clear that. And let's make the bow. And of course, for a bow, which is now number 1, we need arrows. Select arrows, go to maximum, make as many as you can. Right? There's a reason for it. They don't do a lot of damage, but they may slow him down a little bit. Okay, now where's our tiny little friend? Fancy that. Okay. Oops. And that's how hard it is to get rid of naughties. Select your knife. Now, you want to clean these guys up pretty quick, because a dead animal will cause this to happen. Oops. Yeah, it happens to be a quick way to level up as well. And repair the knife. Okay, we've accomplished in the first 5 minutes just about everything you want to. So what's next? We need to get some shelter. How are we going to get... so here comes... Yeah, that also works. We've got enough for one more repair. As you can see, Mummy has big teeth, but if you work quickly, aim for the head, you can take her out with a knife. Okay, Next thing we need is, if you look down on the lower left hand corner, you'll see the oxygen is getting low, your food is getting low, and your water's getting low. So what can we do about it? Well, we have to find somewhere. Don't worry about the first storm, it's usually only wind and stuff like that. You don't really have to worry about it. Let's have a look around and find somewhere that might be a good place to live. Now, why do I say might be? Is because it doesn't always work out the way I want it to. However, this looks pretty promising. Now, what are we going to do here? First, oxygen. Change over to inventory. Let's see the stack. That just helps a bit. And a little bit more. Right, we need water. Now, don't do this too often because you can get deli belly. And believe me, squirting out both ends is not a lot of fun. Now, there are a number of different places you can go here. Personally, I prefer this one. So we'll just do a little bit of a clean out. And make a little bit of space here. It'll all come in handy, and you'll see why in a minute. Right, pickaxe. And we dig in to the rock. This is your first shelter. So far in the first 5 minutes of the game, we have tools, we have weapons, we have food, we have oxygen, we're close to a water source, and we will shortly have shelter. Whoops. Well, we might have had shelter if I watched what I was doing. So we screwed that up. Let's try another one. Let's find another stone. Bit small. We could make it work. Yeah, we could probably make this one work as well. Okay, a little bit dark. So let's get up on the rock. Yep, I like jumping on rocks. And we go to a tech tree. Okay, we're going to need a bed. Obviously. We're going to need filtered water. So you need a water purifier. Now we've only got 3 points. The other thing is a torch. Icarus gets very dark at night, and you do not want to be walking around without it. Those are the next 3 pointers. Okay, let's jump down here, clean some of this little mess up. Don't worry, you're getting points for this, and you are going to need it. You'll need them all eventually. Okay, we've got a bit of an opening. We can take the tree down, but at the moment, we don't have to worry too much about it. Go to O, make the fireplace. And it's always a good idea to make the torch early, because by the time you need it, it's too late. It goes down here in the L slot, and that is your lighting slot. Okay, food is a little low, easily fixed. Right click, consume stack. Okay, right click, consume stack. And we'll take the watermelon for dessert. that'll give us enough food to get things done. Now we could straight away go in and start cooking straight away with boy, I seem to not be aiming too well today. Must be past drink o'clock. Well, we may get away with it. If not, well, we don't. Now, the stones you're accumulating, don't worry about it. Now, already, you've got a fair bit of protection here, except for somebody making a hole in the roof. But that's so you can watch the stars at night. Okay, let's go around the outside. Yep, we're moving a bit slow because we might be slightly overfull. Now, I've come around the side here for a very specific reason. You can crouch down here. Whoops. Forgot to change my settings. We make another hole in here. Now, the reason for that is, this is where the fire goes. Right click, deploy. Press F to interact. It needs wood, and this is why we took 100 wood. Now, a lot of people like to fiddle around and play around. And, oh, I'm going to split them up and only put 5 wood in or what have you. Waste of time. Secondly, you're going to need charcoal. Now, you're overweight, so you're carrying extra tools, you're carrying a lot of extra stone. But what you're going to need is more of these guys. So let's have a look. Max is 100. Okay, let's make 100 of them. You do go through them, so don't worry about it too much. Next is you can make these. These are handy little items. I'll tell you why shortly. So as we get these all out. Now, you notice up here there are 2 knives. Right? This is the knife you want. The throwing knives, I've seen some people are experts at it. Me, unfortunately, I'm as good with the knife as I am with a bow. In other words, I've got a better chance of missing it than I have of hitting it. Okay, what do we need this for? Well, we're going to put this as close to there as possible because it adds a little bit of protection. So any animals coming in can only come from this direction, right? They can't get you from here. Now, the next thing we're going to need is a bed. Now, you saw already we've got the 2 wolves and the horse. Now, what do we need for a bed? Well, the bed needs fur. And we've only got 4 fur. Right? We need 20. Now that means that we have our food, which is in here cooking. So let's grab the bacon. And we can leave that for the moment. And the other thing we're going to need is the water purifier. And the water purifier is down here. There's two of them. The basic rainwater and the basic water. The basic water purifier is the one you put in the lake. That's why you come close to the water. Remember, this is a temporary base to get you started on your survival. Right? And you need to survive first before you can start looking at all the fancy bits you're going to need later. Right? And this is why you select an area reasonably as close as you can to water, little bit of protection, and enough in here to put a bed. Hopefully I can get the bed in there. I should be able to. Normally I can, so... Oh, damn it, I'm going to have to change that in the settings. So we should have enough space here. I'll just take a little bit more out around the sides. Now, to go to sleep at night, you do need to have the fire. You can't, without the fire, you don't get to sleep. And you can only sleep between 6 o'clock or 6 o'clock at night and 7 o'clock in the morning. Now, let's check the fire. Okay, pumpkin's cooking. Food's okay. Oxygen's okay. So now we need 20 fur. Believe me, you want to sleep. Let's repair that. And just to be on the safe side, repair that. This stuff at the moment you don't need. Okay. Now, bow and arrow, and this is where you see why you never give me a bow and arrow to go hunting. The thing to do is head up towards the cliffs. Two reasons for this. One, there's a lot of oxide here if you need it in a hurry. Most of your basic supplies are here. They're all easy resources and make it relatively easy to get your points up and your levels up. But quite often the animals will stay up around the cliffs. Not always, but reasonably often. The other thing is that you may, there we are. We have a friendly horsey. Okay, if you're a bit worried about the larger animals getting to you, you just send him a shot, he'll turn around and he jumps in the water. When he's in the water, he is vulnerable. Right. Now he's pretty sick at the moment, so we'll just go down and finish him off like a gentleman. Right. More fur. Now when you're skinning, you'll automatically pick up your arrows, as you can see there. and repair the knife. If you use the knife for killing things, and look who we've got here. Now, there is two sorts of fish. This is to show you what it's like. Now, in the water, they can't get you, you see? Sit in the water, deep water, and bang. Easy. Now, the wolves are actually quite good because they give you usually more fur than the others. Oh. That wasn't nice of you. And yes, collect the bones. Bones will give you points and help you with your levels. And they also come in handy for many and varied little things that you can make during your adventure. Right, now I saw somebody's sign of a dinner over here. Again, repair the knife. Your knife is actually your best melee weapon. And for some unknown reason, this island is usually fairly good for animals. Now, there are the smaller goats, or wild sheep, if you like to call them that, small deer, and wolves, of course, they will give you everything you want. The larger deer with the basic bow and arrow is harder to kill, right? Usually more points. They have a lot more health. Right, what have we got? We've got 10 fur, so we need 10 more before it gets dark. Let's go hunting. I was going to mention the fish here before. There are two types, the red fish and the blue fish. The blue fish are piranha. They are poison piranha. So, yep, they'll try to kill you. The horses will try to kill you. And the wolves will try and kill you. See a large deer. Not a lot of hope here, but nope. He would have given us a nice little bit of fur. Let's go up here. Sometimes you'll get rabbits and wolves and all sorts of things trapped on the edge of the cliff. But this should be your main focus at this stage, is getting the fur and getting your bed. That's corn. Okay, we need to eat something. And we need some water, but looks as though we might. They landed us. There's a rabbit. Ooh, little tricky little bugger. Where'd you go? Okay. And of course, like always, with my goldfish problem, I've forgotten which hole where I dug our home from. Ah, there we are. A little fire. Okay. Just so that while we're here, we don't do the same silly thing again. Put those in. Now we're going to need this. And the reason for that is we're low on water, so we need filtered water. And this is the one we're going to make. The reason for that is you can't always guarantee that you're going to have rain. Right? These only hold a small amount, about 5 litres. So some people like to take this, drag it down to your toolbar, use from the toolbar and put it down. Yeah, okay. Easiest way, right click, deploy, and let's find out where it turns green. Right there. Plant it down, hold F to access, and place the charcoal in to there. And there we are. We've got filtered water just before we dive first. Okay. Press F to drink. And there we are. Now we've got a permanent supply of water as long as the... I thought I saw something just jumping over there. As long as we have charcoal in the filter, it'll keep supplying us water. Okay. Right. Just so we don't get lost again, you stand here, go to M for Mike. That gives you your map, and you can see the map here. Now, unfortunately, Icarus knows that I've played before and has opened the whole map up. Normally, you will just get this little bit of a circle here. Right, that's all you'll see. Everything here will be blacked out. But what we do is we double click, double left click, and that puts a marker. And the idea of that is so we can find out where we're living. Okay, we have food, we have water, and we have fire. Unfortunately, I didn't quite manage to get enough fur to be able to make a bed for us, but that's not a problem. We're already at level 3, right? And it doesn't take that much to go from here. So what's next? Well, next, look at all the stuff we've got. Yep, we're carrying too much junk in the trunk. What can we do about it? Well, let's go to the tech tree and have a look. Is there anything here in the tech tree that could help us out? Now, you've got storage boxes and storage crates and everything else, and the big ones you've got to wait to level 5. But you can get the same level 5 capacity simply by making this. Now, the drying rack, again, you go to Oscar, and there's the drying rack. What do we need? We need some wood, we need some sticks. Okay, neither is that hard to get because right here we've got sticks. Now, if you use your axe to cut this, you'll get more sticks. Right? It will actually gather more sticks for you than what just picking it by hand. And you need wood. Remember, you're getting points for this. Everything you do gives you points. Take the stump out. Yeah, I know, it takes forever, eh? Okay, that should be enough. Now, in this game, you are going to use a ton of wood. And I mean a ton of wood. So, we'll get that into that shortly. First of all, let's make our drying rack. You can actually make 2 or 3 of these if you want to. I quite often make 2 of them. One for actually drying meat, which preserves them for a longer period, and one for storage. At this stage, we'll just make the one, and we find somewhere comfortable to sit it. Let's put it just about here. Okay, we open it up, and you see you've got a lot more storage. So here's the easy way of putting in storage. One there, that can go in, that can go in, that can go in. To split the stack, simply right click, split stack, hold down left control and left mouse. There it is, it's in there. Now, what about all this? Well, you have a look here, you've got, as long as you have one item in the storage box, all you have to do is go down and add to stacks, right? And it will automatically go there. All right, same with the sticks. Let's split that. Left control, and in they go. All right, saves a lot of work. It's a lot easier and a lot faster. Now, you notice these deteriorate. Later on, you can get a salting bench, which will make them last. And when you get really good, you can have a deep freeze. All right. This tells you how long you've got left to go. You see it getting down about here. Even if you don't need to eat it anyway. Right. Okay, let's hide in our little cabinet for the moment. Now we have points, talent points and solo points. Right. You notice we've also got, of course, tech tree points here. Right. We don't need them. There's only one other item we need at this stage. Well, yeah, 2, okay? Bone sickle, because that helps you with your gathering, and bandages. Because if you're like me, you're always getting sniped at. There's a lot of other stuff you can get into later. But remember, you're looking for the basics to survive. Our major thing at the moment is to get a bed down, mainly so we have a spawn point. Without a spawn point, you are going to die, and you're going to get dropped about a mile away with nothing, and you have to run back to your equipment, your inventory, which stays behind, with nothing in hand and a lot of animals looking for you. Okay? Now, this is the second distraction that our lovely developers do. Notice the amount of stuff here. Right? Lots and lots. Oh, look, all the sparklies, all the good stuff. Right? Last point, incidentally, goes here. Right? That's your building. But you don't need a building at the moment. Seriously. Right? Most of this is usable, and you will use it eventually, but you don't need it now. So don't waste any more points than what you need for your basics. Okay? Don't look at the other 3 tiers. That's a distraction. You start looking through those, and the developers are laughing all the way to the bank, because from the rest of your period up until about level 20, half of your brain is going to be wondering how you're going to get enough points to get all those nice, shiny, sparkly bits. Forget about it. You're trying to survive now. This is where you live in the now, not in the later. You can't get them, so ignore them. Right? Remember distraction, and they will try to distract you. Right? They'll distract you with, oh, pretty stars. Look at the pretty stars. Oh, there's a moon up there. Oh, look at the mountains. Oh, what a lovely, fluffy little doggy. Yeah, okay, you're distracted. You're dead. Right? Stick to your track. Make your plan and stick to it. Okay, now back to the talents. See the talents here? Yes, there's a lot of them. Guess what? They're a distraction. Because every time you die, the developers sit there and get a giggle. And I bet they will somewhere in the comments say, no, we don't. Yes, they do. Okay, you notice you have general talents, these here, and a lot of them. Don't be fooled into go looking for stuff. Remember survival. You need the basics. You also have solo talents. You don't get these if you're playing co-op. They're only good for you when you're playing solo. I'll explain those in a minute. Now, how do I normally go? I have 7 points available. Right. Lumber yield. And dense packing. Right. And here, oh, one more. And we can't go to this one till this is full. So we need 3 of those. 1 of those. 1 of those. Why am I going down this line? Very simple. Because of this. A seasoned logsman. You are going to cut 550 trees before you get to level 20. And believe me, picking them up bit by bit becomes a pain in the ass very quickly. So, personally, I like to go down here as soon as I possibly can. Okay? And try to get this as soon. Now, you see this here? This little lantern looking thing? That means that you have to have something with the corporal stripes. Right? One of these has to be opened for you to be able to open this. And that normally takes a few. So, over incumbents penalty, you can reduce that, and you will. You'll need those later. Okay? 1 point available, dense packing, because this increases your weight capacity. Right? And you see up here again, this line? This is what you're aiming for. Right? When you get 1 more point into here, that will allow you to open this. Now, why is that important? Well, once you open this one, right, you can then open this one. So you need 1, 2, 3 more points. And the next one should give you your 3 points, or 4 points, I can't remember which one it is. One gives you a couple and the other gives you 4. Okay, let's look at solids. Now, again, look at all that goodies. All that stuff you can get. Distraction. You are trying to survive. What do you need to survive? Well, you need health, stamina, and speed. Those are the basics for your personal survival. Okay? What do we have here? Speed and stamina. Right? Stamina, speed, and health. Those 3 there are the important ones. Now, you only get 1 solo point for every 2 levels you go up. So when we get to level 4, we get our next point. At this stage, stamina is the really important one. So we'll take 1 stamina point. The next point we'll put in to the other stamina. Okay? Because stamina is important, whether you're fighting, whether you're mining, whatever you're doing. Right? 1 more point there takes you up to 50 extra stamina. After that, health, increase your health, gives you a better chance of survival. And after that, speed. Once they are done, then you go for regeneration of your stamina, because that will be important later. You're going to meet a lot of nasties, and you're going to want to be able to recover as much as you can. Excuse me. Okay, so we've got this far. Oh, that's it. So you're going to play that trick. Get away from that hole a little bit. Would have been nicer if I hadn't made so many holes in the roof. Still, it is what it is. The storms are not going to kill you. Well, not directly. Huh. Another hole. I shouldn't do things in the dark, should I? Anyway, that's beside the point. We can make do at the moment. Normally I do construct them with a little bit more care. But the general idea is pick a big rock, dig nicely into it, when you're crouching, and put a fire at the end so that you can cook your food. And the reason for putting it at the end like that, and we'll take that as well, and deactivate the fire, is because if you have your fire out in the open, any bad weather is going to knock your fire out, and you'll never get round to cook your food and things like that, because 9 times out of 10 it's raining and you can't cook anything and you're dying of hunger. So find a big rock, put a slightly smaller cave in without knocking a hole in the roof, and in here is enough room to put your bed. If I put a bed in now, I may not get away with it, right? Because the holes in the roof might destroy it. So I'd normally be more careful. Now, we haven't got much water left, so let's go and get some water. Wherever I left the water. Yep, I'm running around in circles. No, there it is. Left to drink. And back in here. Now, if you can just wait for a second, I think I should go into settings and controls, find out why my sock camera. No, that one doesn't usually work. That's V. And we look, crouch is C. Okay, and we can come out of there. Now, you notice when you crouch, you go into stealth mode. This makes you quieter. You do move a bit slow, but it makes you quieter and harder to see. Now, the deer there you could probably sneak up on. If it's a small deer like that one, you can kill it with your bow and arrow. The larger deer are a bit difficult. Now, what have we got here? So, do we need another torch? Fiber. So, let's go here because I know we've got fiber in here. Make another torch just for the hell of it. And you notice tools and general equipment will go straight into your toolbar, so you don't have to worry too much about it. It's now 5:30 in the morning. Let's have a little something to eat. The bacon seems it's nearly going to disappear. But let's destroy that. We don't really need it. Okay, inventory. Let's top that up a bit. And let's go down and just put charcoal in there. It does consume charcoal as it filters the water, so just keep an eye on that. Back up here. Okay, what else can we do? While we're waiting for the sun to get up so we can go and kill something, let's have a look and see what we can make. Okay, we're going to need wood, leather, and bone for the sickle. The reason we want the sickle is it makes things a lot easier when collecting vegetables, bone, leather, wood. Oh, where's our bones? Oh, they're there. Okay, sickle, 1. That will go down there in slot 6. There we are. And we just send all this stuff back home. We have plenty of arrows. And stones. Spare stone for our repairs. So until we get steel tools, excuse me, till we get spare tools or better quality tools, just keep 10 or 12 stone on you. It doesn't take up much weight. Now, the other thing to notice is if you're getting lost, look on the lower right-hand corner of your screen. notice something? It says in your hands at the moment is the wooden bow. Right? You've got one bow, you've got 121 arrows, but a little bit higher up, if you want to change the ammo type, as long as you're holding the bow, right, you hold down R. Now, of course, I'm only using stone arrows anyway, but normally you might have flint arrows, bone arrows, all sorts of stuff. Right? And this allows you to change them. Now, if you notice, I've got a bow, no arrows. Okay, just hit R. Right? And what we're going to do is convince that Tyrannus, whoops, perhaps shoot a little bit higher. To come over here because I can't be bothered swimming. As I said, I'm about as good with a bow. Now that should bring him over. And headshot. Headshot. And down. So 1 or 2 headshots, then go for the knife. Right. When attacking or being attacked, believe me, the knife for close quarters work is your best equipment. And no, we are not going to be nice to Junior. Oh, shit. Of course it breaks. Normally I would tame one of these. We'll do that a bit later, but I need the fur. And the fur at this stage is more important than... of course he didn't have any, did he? Well, I wonder why not. You either get none or you get a shit ton. Don't worry about swimming. You don't run out of... You don't use a lot of air when you're swimming. Okay. We still need to get our bed. Oh. That's it. Duck your head, you sod. Now, he is fairly well wounded, so it does pay to track him down a bit. There he is. They can usually give you some... Oh, bugger. I was right on top of him and didn't see him. Nope, lost him. Oh, well. There's got to be something else that wants to kill me. A chamois? Well, with chamois, all you've got to do is hit it. And occasionally you get lucky. Right. Where is he going? There he is. Now, there is a way for you to get extra water, and that's the little buggers. Yep. That will poison you. So it would turn him into fish chunks. Again, repair. Oh, we need some sticks. Repair. And let's go and get some water. Oops. He said as he got lost again. Yeah, I know, I get distracted as well. Remember I said something about goldfish? Okay. So, what have we got so far? To inventory, we now have 6, so we've got 16 fur, so we're almost there. That in there. Back to stacks. Let's get our fire going. And oh, now these will come in handy later, these two items, spoiled plants and spoiled meat. But just for the moment, yeah. We can actually do without the extra weight. Okay. Close that. And all we need now is 4 more fur and we get our bed down, and that's the basic survival parts all done for the day. And then we start working on how can we get up to level 10 and why we need level 10. Mainly that's the next most important level, because that gets you into the next tier. Level 10, level 20 and level 30. Those are the 3 ones that will take you into the different tiers. But for now, it's survival. And what we need is a friendly wolf or 2 to come and chew on our ankles. And I'll leave carrots for a moment. Some people get all carried away with farming. Personally, I'm one of those. If you can't grow it, if you can't eat it, you don't grow it. Right. Remember, you're trying to survive. You're not trying to save the world. There's plenty of vegetables around. There's always plenty of food and plenty of resources, as long as you keep your eyes open. Yeah. Our next project, once we get our bed down and we get secure, what we're going to do is we're going to start looking for metal. And the reason we're going to look for metal is to upgrade our tools. They're also tools, upgrading tools will make things a lot easier for us. Now, where do we get metal? We get metal in caves. Now, old players or those who've been playing a while have got a pretty good idea of most of these maps, so they know where to look for caves. So around the area you'll find down here, in this area, there's one, I think, about here. There's another one over here. And guess what? There's one right here. Okay. That's why I stopped here. Where is it? Well, let's have a look. Yep, that looks like a cave. And for you new players who didn't see it, that's not a cave. No, but that is. Caves are either open or they may have a closed door over them. How do I know this is a doorway? Well, for a start, the area outside here is reasonably flat. Secondly, there's a square chunk of rock, and if you have a look at the edges, see how it's carved out? Nice and square. That's not natural in nature. And you say, yeah, but there's rocks there. So how do you know it's a cave? Simple. I get my little rock chipper and look at that. There's the pick sign. Right? There's the pickaxe sign on the rock. That means it can be dug into. So let's dig into it. You don't need a big hole, just enough to get through. And remember, while you're digging this stone out, you're also gathering points. Now, that's easy. Right, you just go in, grab all the stuff you want. Hey, easy peasy. Yeah, one small problem, you see. Inside the cave, there are two little nasties. Now that's as big a hole as you need. It restricts some animals from coming in, but it also allows you access. Now, point one, it's dark in there. Point two, you have a look in the distance, you can see the back of the cave, which means this is a small cave. It's going to have 2 or possibly 3 worms in it. Right? Now, we'll go in there in a moment and have a look at them. They're not that hard to kill. If there's 2 or 3, you can even do it with a knife, right? Or with a bow. If you're going to use a bow and arrow, you have to hit them exactly in the middle of their head, right? Where their mouth is. That'll kill them quickly. Otherwise, you'll be plonking arrows into them for a fortnight. Or you can just walk up to them and stab them to death, nice and quick and clean. You will get tagged. They spit poison. They're reasonably accurate with it, so you can dodge side to side just to avoid that. But the other thing they have in the caves are bees. And you will get wild bees' nests in here. So how do you get rid of them? Well, first, use your bow and arrow or a spear or a gun, whatever you've got, and hit the honeycomb. Knock the honeycomb out. If you can do it from a distance, do it that way. If not, the bees will swarm and you're a goner. To get rid of the bees, use your knife or a spear, right? Any melee weapon. If it's a melee weapon, you'll kill the bees really quick. Then you can go up to the hive, or up to the honeycomb, and just collect a few bees for yourself, a bit of honey and stuff like that. It's all good resources, and you get extra points for it. So, what have we got in here? Well, first of all, I already know what's coming. I shall change that, get rid of that, because we get the resources back. Now, the only other thing in the cave that can be a pain in the ass is cave sickness. This one, I'd say we're going to have, yep, there he is. And boom. Ooh, I like that idea. Now, I don't know if you saw it. There should be one more. It's very rare that you only get one. There is only one here. Okay. This lovely purple thing is not opal, and it's an exotic. This is what you've been sent down here to gather. Now, the exotics will respawn, right? So mark the caves that have them, because over a period of time, this cave will respawn the exotics, and you just come back and collect them. Right? You don't have to chase around. Now, here we have copper, and that's platinum. You can't collect that unless you have a steel pickaxe. Right? Over here, oh, that's iron. We'll get that in a minute. It's the iron we want. Iron and copper are all that we can gather at the moment, plus coal, and of course the exotics. Anything else you can't gather without a steel pickaxe, like that platinum down there, or titanium, things like that. Aluminium or aluminum, as certain people call it. Right, so what we need, the iron, is we need 130 iron minimum, and that is for the first run. And the reason for that is that will make the anvil you will need to make steel tools. And then you'll need, I think it's about 6 ingots of iron for each tool. We get into that in more detail later. So while we've got this nice little cave here, we shall gather some iron, because guess what? Yeah, it gives us more points. Now, I didn't hear it snap, but I assume we've got it. Now, on the lower right hand of your screen, you see it says you're holding the stone pickaxe. When you start gathering, where it says drop item, it'll come up and show you an icon. It'll show you how much you're gathering, and in brackets it'll show you the total amount that you have. So watch this, see that come up? Iron ore. We've got 33 at the moment. We need 130 for our first little effort. Alright. Now we just run out of stamina a bit. Yeah, you heard the click. We've got 60, so we need about 2 more of these. Now, some people get all OCD about having or carrying too much weight. Yes, it can be a problem. It slows you down a bit. There's the click. We've got that one. But in general, if you're close to where your camp is, it doesn't really matter. When I'm as close as I am now, at times I've carried 300 kilograms, right? So we've got 136. That's enough of the iron for what we need to start with. So what we're going to do now is get a copper, because we will need copper nails for our storage tasks. This is a matter of looking ahead. And if you have a look at our talent points have gone up, and we're almost to level 5, and we've only been here overnight. Okay, and because I'm greedy, I'll take the exotics anyway. With metal tools, you'll gather a lot more of them. So this will probably only give us about 14 or 16 exotics. But hey, every bit helps. And you can see I'm 116 kilos. I've only got 4 kilos to spare. But I don't particularly worry too much if I go overweight a bit. And we've got 1.1 kilos, so you can see how slow I'm moving. But we are relatively close to home. So before I go outside, repair that. Repair that. You can see why we keep this stuff around. Now, yes, water's getting a little bit low, but it's not really that important. And if we go in a straight line over here, we've just, for some strange reason, just dropped underneath. Oh, shit. I know you're here somewhere, sunshine. That's about, oh, there he is. Okay, home, James. We'll go home first, dump all this so we've got it at home. We don't lose it. Besides, with a bit of luck, we might have a wily wolf decide to take a piece out of us. And as we're thirsty, I'll have a bit of grab a bit of booze. Over here. We shall turn that off. Grab that. Consume. Now, oh, we actually got 29. That's not bad. Okay. You can see here, we're starting to get a little bit full of stuff. So that, destroy that, we don't need it. The stacks, that's all filled up. Now, we've still got stuff that we need to unload. Right? And the simplest way is just make another one. Right? Wood, sticks, and fibre. And you've got all of it here. Wood, fibre, sticks. And we make one more of those. Don't worry about early in game. This cheap stuff is easy to make, but you also doesn't take much to break it down, get most of your resources back, and you can use it for something else. But This is the easiest way I've found in early game to... Right, why am I only putting one in? Simple reason. Add the stacks, bang. It's all gone in one. I don't have to fiddle around with it. Okay, back to this one. Open up. Add the stacks. Easy. And I'll shove those in there as well. Ah, we've got another storm coming in. Now, I'm not going to be fully protected because I've put some ventilation in the roof. But it's better than getting hit by lightning, believe me. And these storms can knock you about a bit. So if you can avoid them, good. If you can't avoid them, tough. Not much we can really do about it. Just hope it doesn't strike us through one of the vent. Oh! Just the guy I wanted. Oh. Well, if the mountain can't go to Mohammed, then Mohammed can go to the mountain. And 3 more. Very handy window. Grab it there. Fire going. Now, eat that. And what we're going to do here is go here. To this, open it. We're going to put this and this to dry because that'll actually preserve them longer than most other things will. Now, once you have the dried meat, there's a reason for that. From now on, the ordinary steak-looking meat, or ordinary, medium meat, I'm going to make dry all that for something later on. Right. Now, as you may have heard, if you're a new player, you may have heard you can tame animals. What they don't tell you is how to tame them and what you've got to do. So we will be doing that, and we'll probably do it earlier than what a lot of people normally would. Mainly because I'm old, I'm tired, and I'm lazy. But why should I walk around when I can have someone... let's change that there, because otherwise... put them in here. That way they will come out easier. Put the bones back in here. And yes, I'm still saving the bones. In Icarus, everything you do and everything you gather has more than one use. half the forest burning down, don't let it worry you. Right? Half the forest burning down is nothing. Yep, my aim's about as... There we are, that's got him moving. Oh, hello, Junior. You want to come and say hello to Mummy? Oh, he's had some. Well, we only need one more fur off Mummy. And we're okay. We've got our bed. Right? And this is an example of... Oh, God. Are you serious? And, of course, I'm out of stone, so... I told you not to play. But no, you had to come around here and interrupt the game. So you pay with your life. As you can see, the old pickaxe is also a very handy tool for getting rid of naughty wolves. The knife is quicker, but in a pinch, the pickaxe will do it. And for the sake of repairs, I'll just pick up a couple of loose ones. And repair the knife. When you remember, you try and keep the knife always repaired. Okay, over here to the meat rack. Let's put that in there. Soft meat. You see the basic dried meat? That's going to be used for something other than eating. I know it sounds strange, but believe me, it works. Put those in. You would, wouldn't you? You'd have to be awkward. Split stack. Okay. Now, do we want to cook it? Yeah, why not? Now, some people can get bogged down with things like, oh, you've got to have so much of this and you've got to have so many of that. And I'm afraid I'm a very basic sort of a person. When I'm hungry, I eat. When I'm thirsty, I drink. And when I'm tired, I sleep. So I don't really worry about buffs this, or whether I have got buffs or I haven't got buffs. Okay, we've got a total of 24 fur. We only need 20 for the bed, so let's go to the bed. Oh, that's nice of them. They've added a little bit to it. Leather, sticks, and fibre. I'm pretty sure before it didn't take all of that just to get the bed, but nevertheless, we've got it anyway. There's our bed. Hopefully we won't have to make another one, but with my luck, you never can tell. Level 5, and that's where we wanted to be as early as possible. Now, Can we get away with it? I'm hoping that's enough out of the weather enough temporarily. Okay, you have your bed down. Make sure you hold down F, and that's your spawn point. So if you die, you will come back to here as long as you don't cut windows in the roof and allow a storm to come in and destroy it. It must be undercover. Right? You can't just lay it out outside. Well, you probably could, but it's going to be destroyed in the first bit of rain. Hopefully it's not going to affect it too much. So now we have a bed, we have the first of our metal, and we've got to level 5. But what does that give us? Let's have a look. It's about now level 5 where I don't do a great deal. Right? A lot of these things I don't do until later. But I will take the yeah, I'll do the shovel now, and I'll show you a reason later. Next is the building. Now, I purposely did not start building early. As you see, we've already had, what was it, 5 storms. We've been here 1.5 days. And in 5 storms, we would have spent more time repairing a wooden house than anything else. So, do we want to move? Well, we could. It's not necessary. I mean, we've got everything we need. We've got food, we've got water, we've got shelter, and we've got an air supply. So, really, until we get to level 10, we don't really need much more. So, we can work or concentrate on just improving our tech tree points, right? And climbing the levels. And down here, the levels are fairly easy to do it. You can do it in many ways. You can go hunting animals and go running around and all sorts of things. You can go looking for caves, killing cave worms and all sorts of things. Now, you may, yep, just hold, excuse me a moment. Excuse me, folks, I've just got a little bit of problem come up.